Welcome to Kazinform News Agency. Today we have a special guest, the President of Slovenia, Nataša Musar. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm honored.
Madam President, your visit to Astana is the first official visit of the President of Slovenia to Kazakhstan in 15 years, and that signals a strong commitment from both Astana and Ljubljana to deepening bilateral political dialogue and economic cooperation. Could you elaborate on what the future holds for the relationship between Slovenia and Kazakhstan, and also has the newly opened embassy in Slovenia of Kazakhstan given its additional momentum?
If I start with the last sentence of your question, definitely it was a good sign, and I would say a marvelous sign, that Kazakhstan decided to open an embassy in Ljubljana. To have a resident ambassador, it makes life easier for diplomats, to get to know about the country, about the business, political life. And we are now in the process of offering Kazakhstan a non-resident ambassador. Of course, I do hope that your country understands that being a country with a population of 2 million, we cannot have an embassy in every country on this planet, so we have to prioritize. But to offer a non-resident ambassador, which is not going to cover Kazakhstan from other countries, for example, now your country is covered from Moscow, from Russia, but there is going to be one person, a so-called roving ambassador, who will be totally dedicated only to Kazakhstan. So this is what we will offer in the near future. It's in the process. But first of all, I would like to say thank you to your president, Mr. Tokayev, to invite me to Kazakhstan. We've met for the first time when I was a president only for half a year in New York at the General Assembly in United Nations. And we had a really, really informative and content-full conversation on bilateral level. And this was the time when I said, well, Kazakhstan is a very interesting country. To be honest, politically wise and economically wise, geographically small countries do have to be more open-minded than the superpowers. Slovenia is currently holding a non-permanent seat at the Security Council. So we are aware of what is going on in the world, but of course we are also aware that Slovenia, being a member of the European Union, and European Union is the third strongest economy in the world. European Union is, of course, our priority, but I often say Slovenia is not a lonely island in the middle of the ocean. We have to cooperate with other nations, and my main motto is, if we are politically well connected, and we do not have any open questions with Kazakhstan, and we have diplomatic relationships for 33 years already, so it makes life easier also for the economy. To have a good economy, that means that you can also have a good social welfare state. That's a synergy that we are, striking for. And to have, firstly, as I said, good political relationship, we can open many doors for businesses. And this is the reason why I'm here. And I'm really, really happy to see the warm reception, the willingness of Kazakhstan to cooperate with the countries around the globe. And I think that we are quite like-minded in this regard. Kazakhstan is, of course, 10 times bigger than Slovenia. You are the leader in Central Asia regarding the economy. You try to keep to a neutral political position right now in this very multipolar, crazy world, if I may say. So I do admire your president and your country with the wisdom that you do possess in these hard moments that the planet Earth is facing.
Thank you. Thank you for these words.
No, they're from my heart. Yeah. Honest.
And talking about the economy, I would like to ask you, so you here in Astana, you are accompanied by the high business delegation representing leading Slovenian industries at Kazakhstan Slovenia Business Forum. And what economic impact do you expect this forum to have for both Astana and Ljubljana as well?
There is only one way, and one way is the progress. And I often say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And that goes for politics and the economy. Yes, the biggest delegation since I became a president, and I'm the president for 2 years and 3 months, this is the biggest delegation that I have with me to Kazakhstan. 25 really very renewed and high-profile companies are here. The bilateral economical exchange is, I would say, modest. It's 163 million euros currently. Just to give you a comparison, our biggest trade partner is Switzerland momentarily because of the pharmaceutical companies, and it's 32 billion euros annually. The second biggest partner of Slovenia is Germany. It's 15 billion euros. And the GDP of Slovenia is currently 72 billion euros. Yours is 288 billion euros, but you're 10 times bigger. So Slovenian economy is really doing well. GDP per capita, this is another statistical number which is showing the greatness of the economy in various countries around the globe. Ours is 34,000 euros per capita, yours is 12,000 per capita. But nevertheless, Kazakhstan has a lot to offer to Slovenia, but also vice versa. Slovenia has a lot to offer to Kazakhstan. You know, you are lucky to have oil and natural gas. That's the resource, that's the diamond that you do have. Slovenia doesn't have that, so this is the reason why we have to be innovative in other fields. Pharmaceutical is number one, and then we have forestry, digitalization, artificial intelligence is something really very close to the heart of Slovenian young entrepreneurs. There are a lot of startups working on artificial intelligence. And today, I visited the Artificial Intelligence Hub in Astana, and also the financial center of Astana, the international one. And I see that you are doing really, really progressive work on how to gain foreign investors. European Union is the biggest foreign investor in Kazakhstan. More than half of the investments come from European Union. And Slovenia is part of European Union, one out of the 27 member states. But to gain more economical cooperation, we of course have to work bilaterally. And this is the reason why I'm here. And I have to tell you, when I announced that I am traveling to Kazakhstan, a lot of Slovenian entrepreneurs said, we would like to go with you, Madam President. They are aware of one fact. When the president is coming to a country, many doors are opened. And this is my job to do. Of course, the Slovenian entrepreneurs and Kazakhstan entrepreneurs, they have to show quality products. And then the bilateral cooperation has really no limitations, if you ask me.
Thank you. Thank you for such kind of detailed answer. So I would like to ask you about the political consultations.
Yes.
So during the political consultations in November 2024, the head of the Slovenian delegation, State Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs, Marko Štucen, he reaffirmed his support for liberalizing the visa regime for Kazakhstan and the European Union. And I would like to ask you what steps are needed to accelerate this process.
The process has already started because European Union is aware of the same fact as I was just describing right now, that the cooperation between the countries outside of European Union is also a necessity if you want to have good political relationship and good economical relationship. So the facilitation of visas for short stay-term visas is in process, but also for readmission of Kazakhstani people. So this is the process which goes together. Of course, you have to understand the political structure of European Union, where all 27 member states have to be in consensus to do that. And Slovenia is by no doubt, sir, a staunch supporter of liberalization of visas for Kazakhstan. And we will continue to support your country. Knowing now about the country even more than I did before coming here assures me that Kazakhstan deserves the visa liberalization system. For short-term visas, for readmission, for business and diplomatic purposes, it's already opened. So this is the way forward, and I will continue to support your country in this path.
Thank you. And on the sidelines of these consultations, Marko Štucen, he met with Rauza Mindalieva from the Kazakh Ministry of the Education and Science, and to discuss the cooperation between Kazakhstani and Slovenian universities and research institutions as well. So what developments can we expect in this area? And I would like to ask you about the plans to open the branches of Slovenian universities in Kazakhstan as well?
Education is the most important topic every single state needs to tackle. Because without educated young people, there is no progress. That's for sure. And again, to spread the virus of knowledge around the globe is also an added value. Do not keep it to yourself. Give it to other people, other nations. Slovenia has a lot to offer. We are probably not going to open a university in Kazakhstan, but we have many professors to offer in digitalization, in pharmaceutical. This is our strongest added value. This is why Swiss companies are opening factories in Slovenia, because pharmaceutical faculty is really on a world expert level. And then we do have Institute Josef Stefan. This is the biggest scientific institute in the region, where 900 scientists from all over the world are exploring robotics, artificial intelligence, biotechnologies. This is something that we really do like as well. So the exchange of professors is something which should be put on another level. Yesterday, I found out that we already do have a professor of music at University of Ljubljana, a marvelous cello musician who performed a couple of songs yesterday at the concert. And music and culture is also something that Slovenian people do like to share, and we do like to see other cultures, other languages, and other arts. And this is also the field I would love to be explored a bit more. But let me just tell you something. Today I had a lunch with your Prime Minister, and there was also a Minister of Education. And he explained the philosophy of Kazakhstan, how to gain the foreign knowledge, and a lot of universities from around the globe are sending professors and opening branches in Kazakhstan. And the reason behind is to keep the young people inside the homeland, to give them the best possibilities to study, and this is the right way to do it. So the people will stay here, learn a lot, and just to tell you a little secret, China is doing the same. Arab countries are doing the same. And this is why some American universities are in trouble, because foreign students are not going to United States of America anymore, but they study at home with marvelous expert professors from all around the world, also from the United States of America. So this is a very interesting project that you do have, and it's working, because the minister told me that a lot of young people are staying in the country.
Yeah, that was interesting insights. Yes. Thank you. And regarding this topic, yesterday you had a lecture at the Nazarbayev University. Can we know more details about it? What was the experience? What were the insights?
Whenever I go abroad, it's my privilege to be offered to have a lecture at universities. And I was really, really more than happy to accept the invitation of Nazarbayev University. There was a full hall of young, prominent students who came to listen to me, what I have to say, what I wanted to say. And the title of my lecture was Small Countries and the Position of the Small Countries in this geopolitical variety of the world we are currently in. And I said to them, the smallness is always only in your heads. Despite the fact that we are geographically small, we try to influence the world with the ideas which are good for the progress of this planet. Gender equity was one topic that I did discuss. Artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is bringing a lot of pluses, but is also bringing a lot of minuses. So we have to be careful when developing these super digital tools, and we have to go over those obstacles. And one thing, it has to be in our mind. Let's just only do good for the society. This is why the artificial intelligence needs regulation and limitations. Not a lot, but still, the limits should be there. Climate change. That was also the topic that I did discuss. Climate change, or if I should say it with other words, climate crisis. The goal of this planet was not to go above 1.5 degrees Celsius warmer than in pre-industrial era. Last year in November, we crossed that line. So we are over 1.5 degrees Celsius. This is not okay. And despite the fact that the G20 countries, 4 European countries among them, are producing 80% of all carbon dioxide emissions, that doesn't mean that the rest of the 20% of the countries of this planet should just watch, step aside, and see what's going to happen inside the G20 countries. No, every single country, even better, every single person on this planet should put a tiny little stone into the mosaic of the green planet that we need to preserve. So this is what Slovenia is doing. And I would like to ascend one special topic, bees. You know, those tiny little animals do produce every third spoon of your food on the whole planet. So because of the pollution, the bees are close to extinct. And this is something we must not allow to happen. And Slovenia was working a lot on the World Bee Day inside United Nations. And 20th of May is today the World Bee Day. You should say thank you to Slovenia. And this was really a beautiful project. We call it Bees for Peace also, you know. Green agendas, as I mentioned before, Slovenia was one of the couple of countries which suggested to United Nations to have a human right to a clean and healthy environment. So that was also our success. We also work a lot on gender equity. Together with Mexico and Spain, I'm a staunch supporter of so-called gender alternation project inside the United Nations. I don't know whether you know, sir, but next year we are going to have 80th General Assembly of the United Nations. Do you know how many times a woman was presiding this body? 4 times. So only 4 women were getting that job. And that's not fair, because women do represent half of the potential of this planet. And whenever I discuss a feminist foreign politics, if you want me to say so, whenever I discuss gender equity, I never have in mind that the men should have less, but the women should have equal opportunities. This is what we are striving for. And just to mention one more thing, in 80 years of the United Nations, we didn't have a women Secretary General. So that's another goal that I am looking at. And I do hope that Kazakhstan is going to be supportive in that way. So, you know, smallness is in your heads. But if you want to be vocal about the things that matter, the size does not matter. So if you believe in something, just do it. That's the motto that I do have.
Thank you. And talking about bees, was it the main topic during your visit to school? So you had something like lecture with school children here in Astana in school. Could you also talk about it?
It was a beautiful moment that I had with your kids. You know, they were drawing sketches, paintings, pictures of bees. I brought pictures of bees and honey from Slovenia, from the municipality that I live in, Domžale. So they were pictures of Domžale pupils hanged on the walls of your school, and then the pictures of your pupils. And they prepared a beautiful cultural program for me. But when I had a little tiny short lecture, what I said to them, take care of bees and take care of nature. Because that's the future for you, the generations behind us. And every single thing that you can do to preserve the planet is a plus. Despite the fact, if it's a tiny little step, it's a step forward towards sustainability, circular economy, you know, and green agendas, fighting against pollution, minimizing carbon dioxide, renewable energies to be, you know, boosted in every single country. I did have a discussion about this also with your distinguished president, Mr. Tokayev. He understands green agendas. He really does. And I really do hope we will have many opportunities in the future to discuss the topics which are important for this planet. Of course, the wars are not doing us any good. You know, currently there are 55 armed conflicts around the globe, which is the highest number after the Second World War. And this is why and this is again connected to, geographically small-sized countries, why I do believe in multilateralism, because this is the only way to go forward. Big superpowers have also big and super big obligations towards the people of this planet. But inside the United Nations, there is one country, one vote. 20% of the members of the United Nations out of 193 are small island countries of this planet. They are losing their territory because they are sinking because of climate change. And they have a voice in United Nations. This is why it is so important to nurture the UN. And your president used to work for the United Nations in Geneva. He understands why the multilateralism is so important. And Slovenia, now being in the Security Council, is very vocal about the things that matter. Very vocal. So I do hope that United Nations are going to stay as the multilateral fora, the only one we have, the global one. So this is what I believe in, and this is what I will always be vocal about.
And what are the prospects for strengthening this unique platform as the United Nations to foster this global cooperation? This often what, as you mentioned, our president, Kasim often highlights the unique global role of the United Nations. Yeah. What kind of prospects for strengthening for?
Sometimes it looks like that United Nations are in a lot of trouble. And they are in a lot of trouble. For the last 25 years, we are discussing the reform of the United Nations. We were never successful. And the reason is because you cannot have a reform without the unified voice of the P5 countries, the countries which do hold a permanent seat at the Security Council with veto powers. Sometimes, I do have a feeling that we do have a kind of a hybrid war in the Security Council in New York, because the countries are using the veto to support the political friends in various political groups. What I do see is something that I do not like. So we have to discuss more into the fundamentals the reform of the veto powers of the Security Council. My idea is you can never use a veto when the mass atrocities are in question. That's totally unfair. And the pure legal hygiene is that the country, which is debated at the Security Council as a problem, should not have a right to vote, be it non-permanent or permanent seat country in the Security Council. So there is a lot to debate, a lot to think about, and we have to remember that the United Nations were established after the Second World War, the most brutal war we faced in centuries. Very brutal. And the P5 countries, the countries with the permanent seat and the veto powers, are the countries who were the winners of the Second World War. Many countries around the globe were hesitating to give them the veto powers. But we trusted them because we thought that they are aware of the fact that having a peace and stability is something that we have to work really hard on. This is not the case today. And I would really like to see this organization to be strong again, to have strong blue helmets, peacekeeping forces, and to have limited veto powers. Without that, we're going to be in troubles again and again and again.
Thank you. Yeah, and let's move earlier. Earlier, I would like to change the topic to the culture. Earlier, you mentioned Slovenian music, and yesterday we learned that you love the music of Dimash Qudaibergen.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's one of the musical symbols of Kazakhstan. He represents the culture, the art at the global stage, and I'd like to ask your opinion. What makes his music so unique, and how does it influence the world's perception of Kazakhstan?
Music is peace, and I truly believe that Mr. Qudaibergen believes in that. I heard him for the first time in 2018. He was 24 at that time. His beautiful voice, unique voice with the 7-octave range is something that only few people on this planet have. To listen to his song SOS in French language and listening to that music, not watching the video, I thought these are two guys who are singing the song. And then I watched the video. It was one guy. It was Dimash. After 2018, I was looking for concerts of Dimash around the globe. And in 2019, I got the tickets. I went to St. Petersburg in Russia to listen to him, and I was even more fascinated because to listen to such a musician live, then you can really see and hear the capabilities of his voice. He's truly a unique talent, a diamond not only of Kazakhstan, but of this planet, if you ask me. And I was more than happy to meet him in person yesterday. He brought me a bucket of flowers. I was really happy to talk to him. And I will tell you one little thing more about Dimash. In 2019, when I published that I was at his concert in St. Petersburg, Slovenian people became aware of his voice. And today, we do have a Dimash Qudaibergen fan club in Slovenia. So, also in my country, Dimash is a well-known artist.
Thank you for your story. That was
You're
really
welcome.
interesting. And before we close, is there anything that you would like to add? Maybe something that we haven't covered yet? Or
Maybe one thing, Slovenians do like to travel, and in my business delegation, there are also representatives of the tourist agencies. But Slovenia has a lot to offer as well. I hope that now that you know that me as a president was here in Kazakhstan, do a little search on the internet to see the beautiness of my country as well. So I really do hope that in the near future, the people from Kazakhstan will come to Slovenia to explore the country. And just one data, 58% of my country is still covered with forests. We are called the green treasure of Europe, the lungs of Europe. So that's what we are.
That's great. I hope so. It will be like that.
It will be. I'm pretty sure. It will be.
Yeah. Your Excellency, thank you for coming here, for your great interview. It was an honor for me to have a great discussion with you.
No, the honor was all mine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, and all the best to Kazakhstan and Kazakhstani people. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.